All right, guys. That was an impressive win from the Utah Jazz. And you know how I feel. I am not pro any wins for the Jazz this year because I want that star, but that was fun. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Pistons. Before that, I want to give a shout out. Happy birthday to see ya, Lex Slater, one of the All-Stars. A birthday shout out to him. And back by popular demand, let's see if this works. It's the Hoops Nerd postgame show. All right, guys, that's you guys have asked for it. We're going to bring it back. Everyone loves it. Let me know. Do you love the intro? Do you not? I try to just kind of dig right into these, but if you like it, you like it. Let's just get into this. All right, the Utah Jazz get a win against a Detroit Pistons team. They did not have Jaden Ivey. They did not have Isaiah Stewart, and that did play into this one. But the Detroit Pistons played hard, but this game was pretty much won for the Utah Jazz in the first quarter when the Jazz went absolutely bonkers. Their shooting was out of this world. At one point, I think they were like 80%, 77% from three, whatever it was after the first quarter. They scored 48 points in the first quarter. They were out of their minds. For Jazz fans looking for a loss today, it was just unbelievable. But what's crazy is in the second quarter, the Detroit Pistons came roaring back. At one point, brought it within single digits. And then Keontae George had a play. We're going to bring this up. Oh my gosh. Was this absolutely, let's see. This dunk right here was out of control. Key goes up and whoop, just bonkers. And then after the play, he hits a step back three in the corner, talks trash to the crowd. It was unbelievable. It stopped the run. I honestly feel like it saved the game because the Pistons were going on an absolute crazy tear, and then they witnessed a murder. That's what happened. Have you ever just witnessed a murder and it changes your life? You're not the same after that, okay? And that's what happened to these Detroit Pistons after that play. It changed everything in that game. And so then, there were fights galore. Jordan Clarkson gets in a fight with, I think it was Duran, or I can't remember, and Ron Holland and Jordan Clarkson get ejected. And to be honest, if you're rooting for the Jazz loss, that was a bad thing for the Jazz because Jordan Clarkson was not doing well. You see that right there. -10 led the Jazz. Sorry, we need one. We need a pull of the Diet Mountain Dew tonight. Shout out to Diet Mountain Dew. Shout out. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Pistons. I like this Pistons team a lot. They are getting better and better and better. And I tell you what, certainly makes a difference when you start getting top 5 picks and number 1 picks in Cade Cunningham, who was phenomenal tonight for them. Look at that. 56% from the field, 37% from three, 33 points, 7 assists. He was fantastic tonight, but just not quite good enough to get over the hump with the Jazz. Needed a little bit more help than what he got. Asar Thompson, they got the top 5 pick from him. He's finally coming back and playing. Obviously, the shooting's not there with him yet, but man, the defense, the playmaking, all the different things, the rebounding, the athleticism is off the charts. He's just fun to watch and does so many different things. You see right there, look, -26 Jalen Duren, but you see what Asar Thompson brings, that plus minus right there. That's his defense. And then you also see what happened here. That's crazy. So anyways, obviously the Jazz made their run with Jalen Duren, which makes sense because when Paul Reed was on the floor, they made some absolute crazy runs. Paul Reed was awesome for them tonight. And look at that, former Utah Jazz man, our guy Simone Fontecchio, molto bene, fettuccini, linguini, spaghetti. He was awesome. Simone Fontecchio, +10 in this game, 2 for 3 from the field. Couldn't hit his 3, but he was fantastic. He plays great defense, and we know what he can do on the floor. One of the more underrated guys in the league. Just makes a team better when he plays for them. not a lot else to say. I mean, Jalen Duren is absolutely a beast, although tonight it wasn't as impactful. You would hope that Malik Beasley could absolutely get more consistent. He took 19 threes. That's crazy. I didn't realize it was that high. And I guess he's 36%. I don't know if there's a lot of players that haven't taken 19 threes in a season. Malik Beasley takes 19 in this game alone. That's crazy. That's crazy. 19. That's throwing me off. That's a lot of threes. If he could have been more consistent, they would have won this game. There was a lot of if this, if that, but I'm telling you, if Jaden Ivey plays, they probably could get over the hump against the Jazz. Despite that, they almost do. And you know who's not very good, such a frustrating player, is Tobias Harris, who just can't get that consistency when you need it or want it. So, too bad for Utah, who was sitting at number 2, now falls to number 3 in the draft order with that win. Kind of scary. All right, I think we're back. Guys, sometimes that happens with my thing, is that this will drop. It will drop occasionally, and I'm sorry, and I know it messes up the audio. But we're back. Let me know in the comments, I'm sure you will, that the sound wasn't very good. It just drops once in a while. I don't know what it is. I got to call my internet and figure it out. But anyways, we dropped there. We're back. All right, let's talk about the Utah Jazz. Like we mentioned, Jordan Clarkson got ejected. He was a -10. He was 1 for 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. That actually hurt the Jazz with them trying to lose this game, if that's what they... And, Will Hardy and the Jazz players on the floor aren't trying to lose this game. But for the fans that are trying to get a better draft pick come draft night, they would, those fans, such as myself, him leaving the game actually hurt those chances. It made the Jazz better in some ways. There's some crazy stats in this one. Now, John Collins, who is pushing a 50, 40, 90 season, was 50% from 3 again. He's just playing at a crazy level. Free throws, he was 100%. He's playing at such a high level. John Collins, 9 rebounds, 16 points. He was an even 0. He just is so solid for Utah this season. It's crazy. We'll be surprised. There may be a team out there that wants John Collins, that falls in love with him and may go after him. We'll see. But for now, Jazz fans, let's enjoy John Collins because he's playing well. Great guy, great leader, brings toughness, fun to watch. Lauri Markkanen was really solid in this one. 27 points, 14 rebounds. That's great. Those are great numbers. He hit some buckets in isolation, which was nice. He was perfect from the free throw line. Just a solid overall game for Markkanen. And look at that, plus 17. Just great stuff from Markkanen. He very, very solid for Utah in this one. You can't really argue. He's just getting very good for Utah. He's been very good for Utah, and he'll continue to be very, very good for the Jazz. Now, he's not a top 15 player in the league. He's not. But he is a player that can complement whatever the Jazz bring onto this team from this draft. So Utah has to be careful. They cannot drop because Utah needs a Dylan Harper. They need a Cooper Flagg or an Ace Bailey or even a Yegor Demon or VJ Edgecombe or Kasparis Valanciunas or whatever his name is. They need that player to bring to this team because they've got to improve. They've got to get better. Walker Kessler has been just having a super solid season for Utah. He was very solid in this one. 6 points, but 12 rebounds, 4 assists for Kessler, and 4 blocks. That is big-time stuff for Big Kess, the big dog down low, getting rebounds, playing against absolute grown men in Duren and basketball Paul Reed. This was a physical, tough fight of a game, and so pretty impressive for Utah to fight their way and win this game. Really nice. And they were letting them play. They were letting the Pistons play absolutely physical. Utah matched it. This was a nice development win for the Jazz, who showed physical toughness and mental toughness to just overcome a lot of adversity. There was a lot of adversity. I mean, it was almost Malice in the Palace in this one. It was almost fisticuffs. And they overcame and they win the game. Really nice to see for the Jazz to do that in this one. Keontae George, my guy, the key to victory. was Keontae George. He was perfect in the first quarter from three. I think at one point he was 5 for 7 before he turned his ankle, and he came back. The dude is tough. The dude is tough. We see the skill. We see the flashes. He's definitely one of those kind of flashy players. If he's in Marvel Rivals, he's like the Spider-Man in that game, just all over the place, doing crazy stuff. But in nights like tonight, he shows you just what he can be. 28 points. He was 7 for 13 from three. Big time shots. He hit dagger after dagger at the end of the game. He gets in fights. He got in a fight with the crowd. One of the guys in the crowd, it was interesting. I read about what happened. I guess he wanted that fan to hear did not like what the fan said to him. He confronted the fan. He actually told the security guards he didn't want the fan ejected. He just wanted to say his piece. The fan was able to return to the game. Keontae George is tough, guys. He turned his ankle, had to go to the locker room. I think he turned it twice, goes back to the locker room, comes back, hits 2 big threes in the fourth quarter. He was monstrous tonight, and he handled the ball. This right here is crazy. He had 5 turnovers. Look at this. Colin Sexton had 10 turnovers in this game. And when Keontae George left, this plus minus tells a lot of things. But this plus 12 from Key was huge. When he left the floor, it got tough for this Jazz team. They needed his ball handling. So when people are talking about Keontae George turnovers and all the things, enough. It was incredibly important for him to be on the floor when he was handling that ball. They dang near lost it at the very end, but held it together. Key hit a big 3 at the end. 7 for 13 from three. Much different than someone like Malik Beasley going 7 for 19. Key was 7 for 13. He was taking smart shots, 47% from the field. Yes, he had just 3 turnovers in this one. Or 3 assists, but 5 turnovers. But he played great ball. Go rewatch this game if you haven't watched it. This was my favorite game of the season for the Jazz. This was toughness from Markkanen, toughness from Collins, Kessler, George, and Sexton. Sexton was so funny in this one. He was like trying to get ejected or technicals. He was pointing guns at like Kessler at one point. I can't remember. It was like the most fun game. I don't care that they won because it was fun. And I expected them to win games like this year against teams like the Pistons. They'll probably beat the Washington Wizards. That's why they have to lose to Brooklyn, and they can't afford any other stupid wins. But this was a really fun one. And it showed the future of this team. Utah has to be smart coming down the pipe here. They have to get some big-time losses, but tonight was fun, and it was a big-time Keontae George night because what you saw is basically what he can be when Utah brings in a superstar onto this team. Key is going to complement that player just like Lauri Markkanen will as well. Absolutely, we're seeing what this team can become. So much fun. So fun. A toughness battle. And what I love, too, is the mental toughness of Keontae George. He is up for the challenge. He is not afraid, and he is in every scuffle for a 21-year-old. It's great. Colin Sexton, if you're in the I love that. It's one of the most conflicting things because Colin Sexton, his attitude is incredible. He was 5 for 7 from 3 in this one, guys. Crazy. He couldn't miss. But what was also crazy about Colin Sexton was the turnovers. 10 turnovers in this one. It was rough at times. 10. But he scores 30 points on crazy efficiency. The energy and everything he brings is amazing. Although there were times where the Pistons, especially Cade Cunningham, were absolutely coming at him. And that lack of size really, really hurt him at times. But yeah, 9 for 15, can't argue with that. 5 for 7 from 3, you can't argue with that at all. That is bonkers stuff. And just the toughness. If there's one thing about Colin Sexton and fights and scuffles and fisticuffs and people squaring up like Jordan Larson, Colin Sexton wants all of that. He is ready. He is ready and willing to jump into the fray, and it's nice to have that guy. And, honestly, Utah has to trade him at some point. He is part of every trade rumor if they want to get that guy in the draft. But for now, just enjoy Colin Sexton and what he does, because he is a lot of fun. His time in Utah has been great. If you'll remember when he first came over, he used to get in so much trouble with Will Hardy. And he has evolved into such a nice, complimentary, smart player that has helped this team. So, really nice. Utah, I think, was surprised how good they were in the first quarter, how they could not stop scoring. They put in Micah Potter. They put in Drew Eubanks. They put in Bryce Hensbaugh. They put in Johnny Juzang. They could not lose this game. They were not going to lose. And so, Jordan Clarkson getting ejected didn't help the cause, but it was fun to watch Jordan Clarkson square up. Absolutely. Sorry, guys. I'm still kind of under the weather. So anyways, that was fun, guys. That was a lot of fun. I don't know if you didn't watch this one, it was a blast. We had so much fun on the playback. Go to playback.tv/SLC Dunk, and you can watch live with me. It's typically me, and then sometimes we have guys from SLC Dunk able to join us. By the way, Bryce Hensbaugh is turning into such a sniper for the Jazz team. Look at that, 1 for 2 from 3. In fact, I want to check. I don't know if these have been updated, but I'm pretty darn excited about this shooting from Mr. Keontae George. Have they updated it? They did. The positive trajectory is there. Look, he's at 34.9% from 3 this season. That's as the starting point guard. He's going to be at 35 here soon. It's just going up. And what's nice also is the field goal percentage is going up. Guys, this team is developing. They're getting better. They're going to continue to develop next year. I think A.J. DeBonsa is very much in the crosshairs, and we'll see what happens this offseason. Could be a wild and crazy offseason with what Utah may do. But if Utah wins the lottery this year, things are going to get so much fun. So much fun. But guess what? It's not going to be fun. It's already fun. We're having a blast. Happy birthday, Lexalator. Devin, let's see. Let me, guys, a lot of things happened tonight. I think the Spurs and are they still playing? That must have ended. What happened in that one? Spurs and what happened? I just want to know. Spurs and Atlanta still going. Looks like San Antonio won that game. So let's see. Minnesota losing big to the Knicks. That's great for the Jazz pick because they obviously own the Minnesota pick. Cleveland continues to win, so we don't even really need to watch that. That's going to be a late first-round pick. But this one's interesting to watch. Big-time blowout of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Maybe it'll break their spirits and get us a better pick. That's what I would love for Christmas is 2 lottery picks, right? Oh, how cool would that be? All right, guys, let's do our daily tankathon. So Utah is locking in this 3, but they got to stay focused, Jazz. Stay focused. Do not ruin this. Do not ruin a good thing. If you're going to be good at something, be good at being bad. Don't be bad at being bad. Be good at being bad, right? Because this is where the money's at. All right, let's see if it was today. Oh, I'm in the zone. The lottery's today. What would happen? Let's bring this down just a little bit. Let's see. What would happen if it was today? Utah drops to 6. Bummer! That means likely VJ Edgecombe or Jacques Jonas. Bummer! Bummer. Get that 2. We'd at least be at 5. I want one of the top 4 guys so badly. So badly. But you can't argue with a top 6 pick. It's what you want. We would have begged for that last year, so we'll take it. Kasparas Jakusonis would be a really fun guy to play with Keontae George. And we'll see what happens next year. All right. Let's give a shout out to the All-Stars, guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, especially the All-Stars. Happy birthday, Lexalator. Let's give a shout out to Ryan Edward Perry, the Legends, Baby Elliott Matson, see ya, Lexalator, Christian House Money to Haas, The Outlaw Jesse James Nelson, Jordan the Goat Besserell, Austin our Grant Editor Extraordinaire, KG10 to TH5, and Patrick Akubo, the connoisseur. Guys, that was a lot of fun. Shout out Utah Jazz. Shout out Keontae George. Shout out Lex Slater. Shout out to the All-Stars. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will talk to you. Oh, and I want to just give a big shout out to JR Dongelin. Thank you so much for everything you did, JR. I know you're not watching right now, but I got to give a shout out. Thank you, JR. I'm going to miss you, man, at RHEI. Thank you, man. I'll talk to you guys next time.